he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue.
Tom Aspinall was never meant to be the headline that night until one brutal eye poke turned the entire event upside down. Within minutes, rumors exploded online. Claims that Dana White had refused to pay him, and whispers that the UFC's heavyweight star had walked away from the sport altogether. But what really happened inside that cage revealed something far deeper than anyone first realized. It all went down on October 25th, 2025, under the bright lights of UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. The main event, Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. It was billed as a changing of the guard moment, Aspinall's coronation after Jon Jones's quiet exit from the division earlier that year. But instead of glory, fans witnessed chaos. The opening round began crisp and calculated. Gane was smooth on his feet. Tom pushed forward with pressure and confidence. Then, just 4 minutes in, disaster struck. Gane's outstretched left hand caught Aspinall directly in both eyes. Not a light touch, but a deep double poke that dropped the champion to his knees. "I can't see," he shouted, as referee Jason Herzog stepped in and waved the doctors over. Seconds later, the bout was declared a no contest. According to ESPN, that fight was supposed to define Tom's career. Instead, he left the arena in an ambulance, vision blurred, his first title defense reduced to a medical emergency. Doctors later confirmed it was a serious corneal abrasion, though thankfully no lasting damage. Still, the night had gone from triumph to tragedy in seconds. But while Tom was in the hospital, social media was already rewriting the story. Within hours, hashtags like #FreeAspinall and #Dana did it again were trending. Viral thumbnails screamed that the UFC refused to pay him. TikTok clips claimed he'd quit the organization. By morning, millions believed a completely false story. So where did it all begin? Tracing it back leads to a single interview. One innocent line that snowballed into chaos. Just days before the fight, Tom's father and longtime coach, Andy Aspinall, casually told MMA Mania,
he had Tom bloodied up, and, Tom didn't want to continue.
That single line, ripped out of context, was all it took for social media to explode. Within minutes, the soundbite was chopped up and reposted everywhere with captions claiming, "Dana calls Aspinall a quitter." What the internet conveniently left out, though, was
both guys are not injured,
there was no feud, no withheld paycheck, just a frustrated promoter trying to make the best out of a ruined main event. But once the internet caught fire, facts stopped mattering. The story had already been written. Dana had turned on his champion. Later that evening, a short clip from inside Tom's locker room surfaced online, him pacing, shouting in frustration, clearly devastated. Verified later by Yahoo Sports, it showed a fighter crushed by circumstance, not anger at the UFC. Still, online speculators twisted that raw emotion into a false story about Tom quitting after a pay dispute. Overnight, countless videos spread the lie. What made it convincing was timing. Tom had already voiced frustration over inactivity and long layoffs, waiting more than a year for that title defense. Fans were primed to believe there was tension. Add in his father's earlier comments about boxing, Dana's poorly worded post-fight remark, and an emotional backstage video.
It's not like it was a legal technique where he got punched and it happened. It was an illegal technique, an eye poke. So you have to cut him.
Tom Aspinall was never meant to be the headline, until one accidental eye poke changed everything. The night was October 25th, 2025, in Abu Dhabi. UFC 321, Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. This was supposed to mark the start of a new heavyweight era after Jon Jones quietly retired. But halfway through the first round, Gane's fingers caught both of Tom's eyes. He dropped instantly, shouting he couldn't see. The referee stopped the fight and doctors ruled it a no contest. While Tom was rushed to the hospital with a corneal abrasion, social media exploded. Within hours, hashtags like #FreeAspinall and Dana did it again trended worldwide. Posts claimed Dana White had refused to pay Tom or that he was quitting the UFC. None of it true. The confusion came from a small interview days earlier where Tom's father casually said, "He's got 2 or 3 fights left, maybe boxing next for more money." That innocent remark spiraled into fake headlines and fan theories. Even some major MMA pages shared unverified claims. In reality, Tom got his full purse, $500,000 plus PPV points worth several million, and Dana publicly said the fight would be rebooked once Tom healed. But social media had already chosen its villain. Clips from the post-fight press conference were cut to make it seem like Dana had mocked his champion. When Tom's emotional locker room reaction leaked, it fueled the idea he was done with the UFC. In truth, he was just devastated by the freak accident. Analysts like Michael Bisping defended him, reminding fans how dangerous eye injuries can be. Others, like Chael Sonnen, called him soft, dividing the MMA community. The online drama turned what should have been a medical stoppage into a conspiracy. Behind the scenes, UFC executives started working to extend Tom's contract before rumors got worse. Reports suggest a new multi-fight deal with higher bonuses and a European PPV clause is already on the table. Still, Tom stayed silent. No statements, no interviews. That silence became its own weapon. Fans filled the void with theories, and Dana's every word was dissected for tension. Yet those close to both men insist there's no bad blood, just frustration, pride, and timing, because this isn't just about money. It's about power. Dana White built his empire on loud, controllable stars. But Tom Aspinall isn't one of them. He's quiet, calm, and unbothered by fame. The UFC needs him more than he needs the UFC, and that shift makes all the difference. As Tom heals and the rematch looms, the future of the heavyweight division, and maybe the balance of power in the UFC, hangs on what he decides next.